So, Neil,
Hey, Glenn.
you came to me recently with an idea of putting together a seminar so that we could help all of the people that we don't have the time or the resources to help that need help in getting their business started.
Yeah, so, our business, we really focus on peer advisory, really trying to get as many business owners in a group together to discuss how we can help each other succeed. Now, unfortunately, TAB only offers so much for businesses that make under a specific value, and that leaves a lot of businesses kind of alone and afraid. And had this idea of like, man, if I could only partner with the best startup coach around, why not talk to him about trying to get it involved, peer advisory, into a program or into something that he has? That way we can work with these other businesses that can still benefit and get our help that we have. So I reached out and
Yes, and 100% great idea. All on board because it solves a challenge that I had as well, in that I meet with clients, I meet with these people that want to start a business or have just started a business, or they're in business and so they're really busy and they don't have time to focus on the important things that have to be done in the background, and they need help,
yeah,
but they can't afford the help they need. And that's quite typical with a startup situation or early in the infancy stage of a business. And yet I wanted to help them. But I can't help all the people that need the help. We all need to eat,
exactly.
So how
Exactly.
I was trying to come up with a solution of how can I help these people in a way that everybody gets what they need and gets their needs met. And your idea of putting together a seminar with a group was perfect. I've done thousands of seminars over the years as a professional speaker and all over the world. And so working with you, what we came up with was this starting a business checklist so that everybody who is starting a business has started a business, because even if you're already rolling, there's probably a few things you didn't think of.
Yeah.
The manual and the checklist aren't there. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I wrote a starting a business workshop. It is a 4-hour workshop. It is available online. I did put it online. The entire workshop is available. This is a subset of that where we just take a look at a couple hours of the 4 hours of what do you really need? What is that checklist of items you better make sure are in the foundation so that you don't trip up and have a challenge? And then combining that with what you do with the peer advisory, wow, that's just so powerful and so magical, because to get that level of peer advisory in the beginning is unknown. It hasn't been done before.
It is. And Glenn, I think you nailed it. Like, you nailed exactly what this is about, the foundation. You talked about, hey, you have this checklist, you started something, but how's the foundation? And unfortunately, some of the people that I work with that are members of TAB, their foundation was never set. They didn't have that checklist to say this has to be done, and now we're trying to clean that stuff up. Fortunately, we have peers to help them, but being able to start that at the beginning, building that foundation, that solid foundation, and then getting them involved with other people who want them to succeed, we're giving them a roadmap. We're giving them that roadmap of saying, this is how you break that 70-30 stat, that 70% of businesses that start will fail in 3 years. Like, by developing this startup checklist that you made is really going to build that foundation for them. And then it's going to give us that chance to say, hey, we know you're going at this alone. All small businesses do. Let's not fail alone. Let's succeed together.
There you go.
That's what we want.
Yeah, it's perfect. And I don't know about you, but I find that when I meet with these businesses, a lot of times in the beginning, and I'll ask them, are you in business or do you have a business? And they'll sometimes look at me and not real sure what I mean by that question. And the follow-up question to that is, well, are you working in the business or are you working on the business?
Exactly.
Because when you are in business, it's you. It's all you, 25 hours a day, 8 days a week.
Exactly.
Go. You're the technician, you're the accountant, you're the bookkeeper, you're everything. And it's
Don't forget
all you.
Employee of the Month.
Employee of the month, yeah. Best parking spot.
Yep.
And so what you've done is you've created a job for yourself, and that's not a bad thing, because it's probably a higher paying job than what you had before, hopefully, and you have a nicer boss than you had before.
Hopefully.
That's hopefully the ideal. All right. But that checklist for that type of someone who is in business is different than the checklist for somebody who has a business and is working on the business. And
Correct.
The best analogy I have for that is having a business. It's like a franchise.
Yeah.
They used to call it the turnkey business before the word franchise even came about. And that you're building something that operates independent of you. You can actually go on vacation. You can have a sick day. You can have maternity leave. You can do whatever it is you need to do, and the business still operates. That isn't to say that you don't have to be there to fine tune and so forth. You do, but you build it as an independent entity, and now you own a business. You have a business, and so you're working on it instead of in it. Completely different checklist.
Exactly.
So this is the important stuff we need to distinguish and address right in the beginning, and that's why doing this in this workshop is going to be such an important feature for anybody that's starting or has just recently started a business.
That's exactly right. Like building that foundation to work on the business from the beginning gives you that mentality of this is the priority. Like, this is my priority. I own the business. I don't work in the business. And that's exactly what we want. And we see it with the peer advisory, by tacking that on. Now we're not just talking about the surface issues. How do I do marketing? How do I do social media? It's, what does my exit strategy look like? I started this business two months ago, but what does my exit look like? Nobody ever thinks about that.
Right.
But if you don't start with the end in mind, where are you going?
Yep.
So we use that peer advisory to talk about that strategy, that vision, and bounce those ideas off each other, because now we can truly create an amazing strategy for your company, because now you are talking about it from the beginning. You know if it's going to be a sellable company or if you're going to be able to pass it on to your kids. If it's a family business. So that's what we want.
Yeah. Very good. And you talk about that roadmap. That roadmap really becomes part of the business plan.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, 1 in 100 business people in business or that have a business say, well, where's your business plan? Well, it's right here.
Yep.
Yeah, it's perfectly clear to me up here. Yeah, really hard for me to get into there and help you with that. You know, I'm not that good yet at mind reading. And so we got to have that plan. And that's what we'll talk about. It's part of the checklist. You've got to have a plan. You've got to have financials. You've got to be able to look down at those. The financials, finance is my hot button because that's where all my training is. But the numbers, the financials of any business is the story of the business.
Yep.
That's where the story of the business is. If I
is.
look at the balance sheet and the P&L statement for any business, and those numbers are accurate and up to date, I can tell you exactly and precisely what's going on with that business, where it's leaking money, where it's making money, and unfortunately where it's going to be out of business.
Exactly.
You know, I can see it. It's right there in the numbers.
It shows you.
So many business owners, I say, so when was the last time you looked at your financials? Well, my accountant does that.
Yes.
No. Your accountant prepares your tax return. Your bookkeeper counts your beans, manages the numbers, but you need to be able to look down at your financial statements, read, understand, and make decisions from those numbers as easily as you look at a gas gauge and speedometer in your car and make decisions.
Exactly.
And if you're not there, we'll get you there. We have tools, we have programs, we can get you there, because it is, you wouldn't want to drive a car without a gas gauge and speedometer.
It'll work great for you.
And so those are the kind of things that we'll address in this program and bring it to the surface so they understand. Then they'll know what they need to go do.
Yes.
We won't be able to do it all in a short 4 hours, but we do have resources. You have resources. I have resources online at McDuffyPresents.com. They can go to my website. I have the 4-hour virtual workshops available there. I have a 4-hour business success boot camp.
Perfect.
At the end of that 4 hours, they actually have a business plan. They have an application for a business loan. For the first time in 25 years, I can say to a startup, I can get you an SBA loan. A startup, an SBA loan.
That is so hard.
Never been able to say that before. But I've teamed up with a person who's been doing business capitalization for 30 years. She's a genius at it. And through SDSI, anyway, she's got a lot of reasons why she can do it that's beyond the scope of this conversation. But I can actually get a startup business the money they need to get it started.
That's crucial.
If they go through the training, they have a business plan, written business plan, they have 3 years financial statements, financial projections, first year detailed, they have a budget, and they have a coach. And they have all of that at the end of this 4-hour workshop. So all that's available on my website at McDuffyPresents.com.
And I think that's perfect. Like you said, the hot button is finances. Yeah. Whenever I talk to people and we talk about finances and I ask about their P&L, and when I get the response, what's P&L? I cringe on the inside. I'm like, you started this business because you were really, really good at what you do. Starting a business is not doing the job.
Yep.
Starting the business is running the business. It's a totally different job. And when I hear that, I'm like, oh man, we have work to do. So being able to go through a workshop that presents this, that gives us that detailed budget, the 3 years of what we can expect with our numbers, is crucial, because that means they're going to learn these things, knowing I've been in business for a year and I don't even know what a P&L is. It's like you have been lucky for a year.
Yeah.
That's all that means. You have just been lucky and the market has been good to you. Because it's going to catch up unless we understand what these mean. Because we can hit these numbers, if we don't do them smartly, we're gonna fail one day.
Right.
It's just going to come back at us.
Absolutely. And he explains it extremely well in his book, E-Myth Revisited.
Yes, such a good book.
E is for entrepreneurial myth. I have all my clients read that book because it's foundational.
It is.
And he talks about the technician turned business owner, where you're doing it for somebody else.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 businesses are started by a technician who's doing it for somebody else. You're an attorney for somebody else. You're cutting hair. You're a builder. Whatever you are, you have the technical skill and you're doing it for somebody else.
Yeah.
And then you have what he describes as the entrepreneurial seizure, where you go, why? Why am I making this person rich? I do all the work. I'm the smart one around here. I'm certainly the best looking one around here. I'm going to go do this myself.
Exactly.
And then you go out and start a business. And you're confused. You think the business of doing it is the same as doing it.
It's not.
One is the job of doing it. You just have, for these years, have shown up and done your job.
Yep.
But where you showed up and all the resources and tools that made it possible for you to do your job were there when you showed up.
Exactly.
Somebody had to make all that happen.
Yep.
Now it's you. And it's eye-opening. That's why I have them read that book, so they understand.
It is such a good book. I mean, it explains everything. Even business owners who have been in business forever, go back and read that book. It just hits on things that you're just like, oh, I totally forgot about this.
Yep. E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. It's on Amazon. I used to have a box of them, just give my clients, here, read this, but now most of them just do it on audio anyway. Yeah. So that's a great book. And another thing that I wanted to add is we talked about, do you have a business? Are you in business? Well, you're not necessarily stuck in one of those veins.
No, not at all.
I actually have a client right now who has been in business, and he's been so successful at marketing and sales that he's overrun with business, with sales.
Good for
him.
him.
He literally has business falling off the plate. I mean, his cup runneth over. So, wow, okay. So now, of course, we've got a new set of challenges, and we had a heart-to-heart the other day, and I said, all right, we've got a choice here. We can either cut this back and only take, the cream off and take just the high paying and it's just you and all like that, or we can switch from being in business to having a business, and we can create a business that does all of this, does all this harvesting for you and everything else, so that you can then be absent and go do some other things.
Yep.
If you want to do some other things or whatever, you don't have to be there. So we'll create this, have somebody else maybe come along and buy it from you. So think franchise, and it's a beautiful place to be. So it's going to be fun to have him transition through that, from being in a business to having it's going to be really cool.
Good for him. I mean, when you hit that point, that is a great point to hit, because it's, where do you want to go, right? Like, what do you want this to look? What do you want your life to look like at this point?
Yep.
And having that conversation is just a great conversation to have, just not only with himself, but with the business coach or with other business owners, to get their perspectives, because a lot of business owners, it may not be the first business they own.
Right.
They may have owned multiple or come from a family of entrepreneurs.
Yep.
And by knowing this is what I want out of it, really helps kind of gauge when you hit that cup overflowing stage of, okay, I don't want to do it like this anymore. I need to scale back and just take the high paying ones, or I want to go sip Mai Tais on the beach and let my business give me mailbox money.
Right.
And I'll just go into work whenever I need to.
Yep.
Kind of thing. So it's having that ability and that strategy going forward is huge.
Yeah. I've had both of those experiences, and this particular one, she was what I would refer to as a shiny object entrepreneur, where, being a new idea would come along, being a new idea.
That.
And what I had to do, because I've been working with her for a couple of years, is, okay, we need to ignore the shiny objects for now.
Yeah.
Put them on a list. This is my bucket list. These are business ideas, things I want to do.
Exactly.
But first, we got to this running without you. We got to get it on autopilot. So that's what we've been transitioning into. But you reminded me of another client. She came to me and she wanted to build up wanted to build her business up big. So it was just her. She was in business. We built it up. At one point, we had 16 employees. And and of course,
awesome.
The revenue coming in was multiples of what it was. Of course, what hit the bottom line wasn't necessarily that much bigger. And any entrepreneurs can eat off the bottom line, not the top line. But where she found herself after doing that successfully, building it up, is she wasn't getting to do what she enjoyed doing. Because she was managing a business now.
Correct.
She was managing people. She was doing HR and PR and marketing and it seems like I spend my whole day just dealing with people and all their problems that they bring to work and trying to get work out of them, and all of that. And she was unhappy. She was not happy. And so we actually went backwards. So we spent the last year unwinding all of that. And so we repositioned these employees. Nobody had a sudden axe. Helped them find another position somewhere else. And she backed off and she only bid on the jobs that she could do and wanted to do.
Wow.
And so it took a year. Yep. Now she's back to just her, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, doing what she's passionate about, getting back to what she's passionate about and what she enjoys.
Awesome. Yep.
And has her life back too, so
good for her.
It was an interesting ride. But
you
had to go there you couldn't have told her you're not going to like it up there.
No, not at all. And I mean, I think that's what a lot of people like going to this will find out. Mm-hmm. I mean, you start a business with this thing in mind of, I'm going to start this business. It's going to be great. I'll be able to retire early. I'll be able to pass it along to my kids. Whatever you want to do with it or have that dream of it. But then when you get to that point, it may not be what you expected.
Yeah.
But knowing that at the beginning is vital for a lot of these business owners of, I don't want to manage people. I want to keep it small.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let's form the business based on that, and let's not let it get up there. Let's let your reputation grow so you're only getting the jobs you truly want to do and working the times you want to do. Because, like you said, you're your own boss. Mm-hmm. You get to create your own schedule.
Right.
A lot of times that's daunting for people, and they don't know what to do with that. And sometimes that schedule is, I worked 2 hours last week, whereas most of them, I worked 28 hours yesterday and 9 days last week. And it's just like, okay, we got to do something.
Yep.
So, and I think it's this right here is truly what's going to help people kind of understand what's involved, because most people don't know what is involved with starting a business, maintaining a business, selling a business. It's all different. There's so many different facets and avenues you can take. But if you don't know what's going on, and everybody's journey is different. That's the coolest part about it, is everybody's journey is different. So why not learn from each other?
Yep.
Right? Like, our journeys are different.
Mm-hmm.
Why not say, hey, you did this. That's the way I want to go. That's the exact mentality I have and the values that I have. I want to follow that one. How did you do it?
Yeah.
And let's talk about it. Or, I don't want to do that at all. Tell me what you did so I don't do that.
Yeah.
And let me go this other way.
That?
Yeah, exactly.
And that all comes out in the peer advisory. That's what's so beautiful about that. You can't succeed alone.
No.
And, I've been accused of being a serial connector because part of what I do for my people is the expertise, but a bigger part of what I do is connect them with expertise, with the people that I have met and vetted over the years here in Pensacola. And I've been at this for 39 years, Neil, so I've accumulated a little bit of experience.
A few people.
and what's fun about it is in this seminar that we're going to do on the 16th of November, we're going to be together for 4 hours. And a lot is going to come up that's not planned. We're going to be in conversation. It is not a presentation; it's a conversation.
Exactly.
And you're going to get the tools you need, and you're going to have some questions, and we're going to go someplace just like this conversation. Yep. Something's going to spark another conversation that's educational and necessary for them to hear and learn. Mm-hmm. And then, wow, that was nice to be able to do it there and not out in the school of hard knocks, because it would have cost me a lot of money out there.
Exactly. I hear that more often than not in our peer advisory boards that we have. Is, I've been there, I did that. Do not do this. It's they share those hard knocks of, okay, let me not do this. Like, they said it didn't work. That's the same way I'm going. How did you fix it?
Right.
What did you learn? What were your lessons learned from that? And just like you were saying, we just had a sample board this morning. So my monthly sample boards, just got back from one of those, and the conversations that we had, I mean, we get a whole bunch of people in a room together who may not know each other. Like, I think there were only 2 people in that room who actually met before. And by the end of it, everybody was joking, laughing, having a great time. A lot of things came out because it's all confidential space that they never would have told anybody. And these are complete strangers.
Right.
So being able to be open and honest about that, knowing they're going to get unbiased and useful feedback is massive to help, especially having that support network at the beginning.
Right.
Like knowing you have somebody to turn to instead of going at it alone for 3 years, being burnt out, being like, this is terrible. I made the worst decision. I just took all the money out of my 401k to start this business. We're struggling. If they have this at the beginning, they know they have support. They know they have help. And if we can start them off correctly, I think that's just going to be huge for so many people.
And you have a specific structure that you use so that they stay on course and they stay on topic and get the results that they're looking for. They don't just wander aimlessly.
No, they don't wander aimlessly because we're real big on accountability. I mean, it's not just me who holds them accountable. It's the other members of the board. We've actually had a board member not commit to their commitment. They didn't do it. Before I had a chance to say anything, the other board member, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, you're taking up somebody else's seat who could actually benefit. That right there is that accountability facet that all these business owners need, because we can say, I'm going to go do this. Something pops up, new order pops up, customer calls in who's mad or happy, whatever, you get sidetracked and we don't do this. We don't make it a priority. But now when you have 5 to 7 other business owners saying, I will hold you accountable for this because I'm going to call you to make sure it's done, you're going to do it because you have to confront them at some point saying, hey guys, I messed up. I didn't do this. So we really hold accountability like huge.
And the peer group's awesome for that. I mean, Tony Robbins was the one that said, make public that which you want to change.
Exactly.
And the change has already begun.
Yep.
Because you make it public with your peer group and
they're
going to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
And that's one of the benefits, even me working with a client one-on-one, the 2 words that I share with them all the time, clarity. I'm going to give you clarity on what you need to be doing so you're not going in circles, which is what we'll do in this seminar as well. We give them clarity, and then accountability. Once you have clarity and a commitment to action, then I'm going to hold you accountable to those actions, because otherwise who are you accountable to? You know, it's pretty easy to turn away from that person in the mirror and go, tomorrow. You know?
I mean, tomorrow is that mythical land, right, where 99% of productivity is held.
Yeah.
That's not what we want.
Yeah.
We want it done today. Exactly.
Well, I hope that people get the message about this, and again, McDuffyPresents.com. It's posted there. It's posted on the Chamber's calendar. It's posted in the email that Chamber sends out every Friday. They've put it in there as an announcement. So those are some ways we can get this flyer, and you have to be on our Facebook posting,
Facebook
and then this QR code here takes you right to the Eventbrite, so that you can register. And please register, because we're having it here at the Chamber 4th floor meeting room, and there's I think 40 seats in there. And when they're gone, they're gone. And
we've limited it to 40 seats total. So, but if you use Eventbrite, just hop on Eventbrite, search for either McDuffy Presents or Tab, and you'll see it. It'll pop right up.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Looking forward to doing that with you.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Okay. All right. We'll see you all soon.
Yeah. Thank you.